So I've always loved video games ever since I was a kid. I just have such great memories of playing Age of Empires, Warcraft 3. I think I remember like every single cheat code still. But my problem making games is I'm just like really bad at art. These aren't my originals, obviously, but they're really not too far off. And there's a lot of asset stores out there. Don't get me wrong. I think I've spent probably too much money at this point buying different assets, but you know, they're never exactly what you want. There's always something that's slightly off. It's hard to get all of these working together. That's always been my problem. So that led me to AI. Can I use AI to generate assets? You know, and turns out AI is pretty difficult. There's a lot of hard parts about it, and there's just like a ton of tools out there at this point. But I gave it a go. So that led to Spritely. So Spritely was a tool I initially made for myself to really wrangle AI and generate game assets for the games I was making. Now it's available up for anyone to try. So today I'll just walk through a quick tutorial of actually using this tool. Hopefully it's actually helpful. Okay, so the first thing you'll see is this page. So this is kind of where you start a new project. There's a few templates for sidescroller, isometric, top down. And this just kind of sets up the perspective appropriately for you. You can also just describe what you want from scratch or make some one-off sprites or characters, 3D characters, things like that. So right now I'm going to go ahead and make a side scroller. Go ahead and click this. And I'm going to make what I'm calling sprite rim. So this is a Skyrim clone. Let's say it's like ornate and beautiful. Let's make sure it's sprite detailed, so 32-bit. And then, yeah, we're going to select the side scroller here. So that's all you need really to get started. And I'm going to click plan. Okay, so here we are in the project view. As you can see, it kind of scaffolded out a bunch of different assets for me here. None of them have been rendered just yet, but we'll do that next. It's really easy to add a new category or add a new asset type in here, and you can see there's several types that are supported, all the way to 3D characters and a few other kind of more advanced assets that I'll get into probably at a later date. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and just generate what AI gave us here and see what it returns. So I'm gonna click generate assets, and we'll let it go ahead and run through here. Okay, great. Looks like everything generated. Looking pretty good. So we have a kind of a main character here. Let's see, a dragon, definitely better than anything I could draw. And as you can tell, kind of the art style is pretty consistent across the board, all the way down to sort of these parallax images at the bottom. You can see there's some small issues. All those are correctable in the tool. One thing we can do here with the stony patch, it looks pretty good. And sometimes the background removal will get it wrong because this is trying to strip out the top parts. So usually I'll go ahead and regenerate that. Okay, great. Yeah, looks like it came back. Looks pretty good to me. Awesome. Okay, and then looking at the parallax here. So one cool thing is you can adjust some of these bars to actually cut out the parallax image here. And if you scroll down, you can see how each of these are now kind of separated out. And then if we go ahead and run background removal, we can actually strip out that white part here. Okay, there we go. So I used a few different settings. Flat backdrop, this is just kind of like a color removal. And then this one is more of a machine learning approach. But did a pretty good job of putting it on a transparent background. One good thing to know too is, so you can choose a different model. Under the hood, Ultra is actually just Gemini, so you could go ahead and just generate this yourself. Crisp and Painter are like internal models I've trained. These are usually better at characters and things like that. So everything that you see back in project mode is actually generated with this crisp model. I typically recommend using Ultra and Gemini for these. But if you wanted to do this yourself, what you can do also, if you click here, you can copy out this full prompt. And then I'll go ahead and go over to Gemini. Okay, so I went ahead and pasted this into Gemini. I'm going to clean up the prompt a little bit. So delete this. There's two items you're going to need. One is the art style, and the other is the scene prompt here. So if we go back to Spritely, Okay, we can copy out the prompt. And then if we go up here, we can copy out the style. Great, and then make sure to select create image. Okay, it's getting there. This is kind of the benefit of using Spritely. You can control some of the internal knobs a little bit better, but you can do it for free through Gemini. So all you have to do is, once this is in a good place, you can download this and take it back to Spritely. Okay, a couple other things I'll show you here. So if we scroll down, I really like this sort of pillar here, but I'd love for this to glow blue. I think it would look a little better. So what you can say is runes glow blue here, and click generate. Okay, I actually went ahead and changed the prompt a little bit to be more specific. Runes in the middle glow blue, and you can see that did a great job. So it targeted just these runes, and now they're glowing blue. Looks really good. So you can do the same kind of thing with a character as well. So let's say we wanted to give this character a helmet. So like, has a badass armor helmet on, covers their face. Let's go ahead and try this out. Okay, cool. Looks like that returned. Okay, yeah, looks like they have a helmet on. Not too bad. You know, you can probably tweak the prompt a little or regenerate if you wanted to completely cover their face. That might be better. All right, one other thing I want to show here too is you can generate different angles. So if you have a reference here, you can go ahead and select right or back. So let's go ahead and generate both of these. Okay, great. Now it looks like we have the exact same character, same look, but at two different angles, facing right and facing the back here. So this is really helpful, specifically for animation. Say you want a full walk cycle, you can click this, click animate from this. Let's say walk to the right, full character walk cycle, character walks to the right. It's usually all you'll need. Hit add, and then these are a bunch of pre-selected AI generated animations, and we can go ahead and animate this. So let's start here, just walk to the right. This is walk to the right, full character walk cycle, character walks to the right. Pretty simple. So if you click goal, you'll get a few settings here, and you can actually use the sprite sheet models to do animations, and I'll show that too in a second. But I'm going to click on animate a sprite. I'm actually going to use the standard model because it's a little bit better with motion. Light tends to be really good for like more subtle movements, things like that. So I'll use standard, and then down here I'm going to crank it up to 65 frames for now, and go with that. And let's go ahead and click animate. Okay, the animations now have generated. This is the walk to the right with standard and the attack, and they look pretty good. It could use maybe a little bit of adjustment, and I'll show you how to do that. But let's zoom into walk right. Pretty good motion. Very simple walk, slow cadence. We could speed that up with a better prompt. The attack right also looks pretty good. Probably needs like a little bit of editing. What you can do with both of these, there's a few things. So one, you can click edit here and you can see every single frame. So if we wanted to touch up a frame here, let's go in, we can actually edit and then remove all this. You can also export the sheet, modify it, whatever tool you're choosing, and then put it back. There's a few more things you can do here too. You can actually extend the clip, either freeform, seamless loop, or my favorite, end on a pose. So if you want it to loop seamlessly, you can actually put that in place here. So we'll go back up here. I'm going to download this right-facing person because that was our starting frame. I'll go here, extend, end on a pose. I'll actually upload our warrior and click end, and that'll start extending it. While that's running, another great feature that I really enjoy, you can actually reduce the FPS, put skip up. That way you get this more kind of classic style walk. And then you can actually turn a style filter on to see it maybe a little bit more pixelated with a bit of a highlight. Let's go ahead and let that apply. And when we open, you can see the character has this really classic pixel look, which I really like. Okay, so let's say you've gone ahead and generated a bunch of things. You've tweaked what you want. How's this going to look in your game? So that's where this preview mode comes in. So I'll click preview. All right, cool. So we got all our characters, all of our assets, just kind of sitting there for now with that ground tile. So they're sitting on the ground, and because this is a side scroller, it's going to render from the side. I'll show an isometric view in just a minute. But usually what I do is I turn off all the backgrounds. So you'll see I've turned all these off. I've turned off foregrounds, and these are all the parallax layers that we created. And then I'll start turning them on. So let's turn this one on. That's okay. Maybe this one, no, we haven't really cut that one out yet. Remove background. That one's kind of cool. I'll leave that on for now. And then the mountains. Okay, actually, yeah, I like both of these together. And what you can do is you can start to tweak the opacity. So maybe you want those more in the foreground, background, fade them out. Or this far band, you can have this kind of fade away. This is just to give you a look and feel. And you can also start to actually parallax them in your game. This isn't, it doesn't show animations just yet. I'm actually going to make this into sort of like a little actual game preview so you can move the characters and try the animations, you know, with the WASD keys. That's going to be next. This really just gets you a view into some of the animations some of the assets that you've created so far. Okay, so going back, here's a bunch of projects I've made. I want to highlight you can really, I think I've done sprite rim many times here. But you can really create any style. Here's like the same sprite rim, but in this like nice 3D stylized render. You can see I chose stylized 3D here. And this is that sort of similar warrior here. So very different look. We've got this pretty cool wolf. So you can really get pretty creative with different objects and styles depending on your game style. And then also here is a, I really went for the retro pixel art. This is kind of like a Fallout vibe type of game, isometric specifically. So I've actually selected isometric 2.5D. I generated some characters. I think I've got some walk styles here, some very basic walk styles. Yeah, this one's kind of nice because it's this kind of slow pixelated walk. Let's see, and we've got some environmental things, and we don't really need a background because it's isometric. So I'll go ahead and go to preview. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you can start to see how this might come together in your game too, isometric style. It's already looking actually pretty cool. I like this look a lot, actually. I'll probably try and build a game with this. Okay, great. Well, yeah, that's Spritely. I am constantly building and extending this. You know, I really would love feedback as people are using the tool. I'm really trying to make this easy to use for people getting up and running, building a game and really pulling some of those techniques together. In the future, I'm going to show creating new animations, 3D, actually pulling this into your game, building a game start to finish. If there's anything else people want me to cover, please let me know. But I love if folks try it and let me know what they think. I really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.